up in Texas. I've lived here since I was 2 years old, and I didn't know that kolaches were only in Texas until my best friend came to visit. And she lives in New Jersey, and she was like, oh, what is a what? So kolaches are like a bread with sausage or bacon or eggs stuffed in the middle and wrapped around. So today we're going to make them. I started off with a ½ cup of milk that I heated up on the stove just until it bubbled. I'm going to add to that a ½ cup of sugar, a teaspoon of salt, and 4 tablespoons of butter that has been softened. And we're going to stir this together and then let it sit for about 10 minutes to let it cool down, because we're going to add yeast. And if we use milk, this milk, butter, sugar, salt mixture, when it's too hot, it will kill the yeast, and then your bread won't rise, and that would be bad. So the butter and sugar have dissolved, so we're going to set this to the side for 10 minutes, and then we'll be back. So in my mixer with my dough hook, I have a ½ cup of warm water. To that, I'm going to add 5 teaspoons of yeast. And then I'm going to add that milk mixture that we made earlier. I have 2 eggs that I have just stirred together, broken up the egg yolks. We're going to add. And then I have, you need a total of 4½ cups of flour, but we're going to start with just 2 and mix that together. Just going to put my spatula in and move things around, because basically we made a well in the center with the dough hook that did not get the rest of the flour inserted. So much better. Now I'm going to add some more of the flour, just a little bit at a time, about 3/4 of a cup or so, and till we get the consistency we want. We don't want it too dry, but we do want it to be elastic, and we don't want it to be too liquid. So it's kind of a balance. It should be 2½ cups, but we want to make sure. Now for the fun part for everyone involved. I'm going to put just a little bit of flour down, pour my dough out, and we have to knead it for about 10 to 15 minutes. And this is where you get your arm workout for the day. We're just going to incorporate all the flour, make sure that it's not too sticky, and we're going to help release that gluten so that when it rises, it'll be light and fluffy. So we have kneaded the dough for about 10 minutes. I'm going to show you elasticity. When we talk about elasticity with dough, what we mean is if I press my fingers in Does it pop back up or does the indentation stay? And since it pops back up almost immediately, that's the elasticity we are looking for. So I have a bowl here that we have coated with cooking oil. I'm going to smush it around the bottom to get it fully coated in the oil. And then I'm going to sit it underneath a damp kitchen towel. You can also use plastic wrap if you choose. It needs to be in a warm, dry place for about an hour until the dough doubles in size. Okay, so our dough is rising. It's pretty much done. I have, my oven is preheating to 350 degrees. I have my smoked breakfast sausage. Now I got already cooked because it's easier that way and it takes less time to cook in the oven. I'm going to cut these in half because I want them to be smaller. But because they're already cooked, they are also a little damp. An important part of this whole process is to pat them dry. Otherwise, that moisture seeps into your dough and that's not good. So we're just going to pat it dry. Okay. And we'll stick those off to the side. And then I'm going to cut my cheese. I have cheddar cheese, a block of Sharp, because it's my husband's favorite. I have a cheese slicer that looks like this. If you don't, you can cut with a knife, but this kind of gives me even slices. Just like that. And you're going to cut off the short end because you want the piece of cheese to be about the same length as your piece of sausage, like that. So, I'm just going to cut this until I cut through all of the cheese. Once all of that is ready, we can prepare our dough. So the little pieces were not working for me with my cheese cutter, so I went to a knife, which you can do, and everyone has one at home. So just about that thickness. And now we are ready to pull out the dough. Okay, so I have a cookie sheet that I've greased, and then I'm going to take out my dough. Now, I don't know if you noticed, but I have 20 sausages now that I cut those in half. So we're going to roll this into a log. And then I'm going to cut it into 4 equal pieces. Put 3 of those back. Now I'm going to cut each of my logs that I cut into 5 pieces. 1, 2, so those can all go together. Okay, so I'm going to flatten it with my palm first, just to kind of make a circle, like that. We're going to lay down a piece of cheese, one of the breakfast sausages over it, and then we're going to wrap it around. Make sure that you have a seam and that you have covered both the sausage and the cheese. And then we're going to place it seam side down on our cookie sheet. And we're going to continue until we get all 20 of them done. So I have finished rolling together all of the kolaches, and now we're going to put them in the oven, 350 degrees for about 14 minutes, or until they're a nice golden brown. So our kolaches took about 18 minutes in the oven to get this golden brown color. I didn't seal this one well enough. I don't know if you can see, but there's cheese oozing out onto my pan. So make sure you seal them well. Now I have 4 tablespoons of melted butter. I'm just going to brush over the tops. We're going to let these cool for about 2 or 3 minutes and then we'll be ready to eat.